when you think about happiness, how do you personally define happiness? Is it a feeling? Is it a mindset? Or is it something else entirely?
I think both of what you said, it's a definitely a state. It's a mind state. And it does have all of the components. It requires a particular way of thinking. It does create the happiness, emotion, and joy and gratitude in there. And then it also has behaviors where how we connect with others and create collaborative and connections, right? I think there was a Harvard study of 100-year study. And as they went through the study from different generation of the same family growing in generation, after 100 years, they've been doing, the surveys almost every year, but then after 100 years, they still found the most important factor for happiness is having meaning, holding gratitude, and holding meaningful relationships with others. So, we are not panda bears, we're human beings. So the connection that we have with others and the love that the love and caring that we offer each other, and not only offer it, but also receive it. And so be grateful for it. And the way we can think about things, sometimes our brain only looks at the negativity because it wants to protect itself. So that also creates depression and anxiety. So it's okay that we're looking at the negativity in order to protect ourselves, be alert and not be surprised, and all of those. But if we could just kind of like extend the box, extend the lens, and look at all of it, look at the positivity plus the negativity that is there. So if I need to protect myself against the negativity, I will, but also enjoy the positivity. Also be grateful for what there is, because our resilience, our hope, our power comes from all of the positivity that is there. So instead of constantly looking at what am I missing so that I can get it, and it's fine. I can constantly look at what am I missing so that I can make myself better and gain it. But can I side by side also look at my strength, my endurance, my resiliency, what I offer the world, which is positive, and then be able to receive from the outside world also, not only, what might not work for them and be able to maybe offer something, but also see their positivity that shows up for me and be able to enjoy that and be grateful. So a combination of the way we think, the way we feel, and the way we act creates that result of being happy and being fulfilled, and create happiness for people who are around us. You're absolutely right that our past is continuously with us. And, we're basically conscious somewhere around 5 to 8%. Almost everything else is subconscious, but that subconscious has been made by our past and how we've brought it together. So part of becoming aware of how we think, feel, and behave, and how we create is important. But then when we look at something like an emotional intensity that shows up for us, or the beliefs that are coming for me, well, they're all coming from the past. So usually in one of the phases, on the fourth phase of the model, what we do is we start looking at what am I hearing from myself in the way that I speak or the way that I behave, and the talk that I do in my own head. What are some of the negative beliefs that I hold as a generality about myself or the world? And then we could take that and kind of like go through and look at, when is it the first time that I made that up for myself, right? Obviously, I made that up. I said that to myself at one point. So we can go to the event of the past in your memory and look at that event. A lot of times, in psychotherapy, I've been a psychotherapist for 32 years. Many of the models, when we used to go to the past and look at the memory, because we wanted to offer empathy and, create that kind of love for that part of ourselves, which was wounded and upset and hurt, our compassion and empathy would come. But I think with that, we also instigated a lot more of the concept of victimhood, right? It wasn't just about that. Yes, I was powerless at that moment. It was more like, I am powerless. We made it very much a generalized concept. So this time in this theory and this intervention, when we go, not only we have the compassion and look at that part of us that is vulnerable, that is powerless at times. We all always can be powerless because something happens, but also to look at the resiliency of who we are and who we were even at that moment that felt powerless. But look at the endurance that in the midst of all that was happening, there was something that was pulling me, was something that was holding me. Even as a little girl, I was still strategizing in how to survive. And those are the pieces that we also still want to look back at and change the narrative, because all the research shows that every time we go back to a memory, we're actually changing the memory. Like, memories are not set in concrete. It's an actual shift that would happen. So it depends on how we go back and look at it. We install kind of like a different memory on top of that memory. So this time we want to go back, but not only acknowledge the vulnerability, but also start acknowledging the strength. Because when I start acknowledging the strength that I've had through childhood, I built up the bucket, kind of. I built up the whole savings account of me being strong and looking at how I was and looking at those strategies. It fulfills us. It creates an inner strength and inner peace for us, that I know that no matter what happens, I'll learn to survive it as much as everybody else is doing and moving forward. So it takes us away from, a constant anxiety and a constant putting ourselves down. And that strength that shows up from the past, and then we could bring it in integrated where I can learn from it, whatever it was. Obviously, I've learned from it and moved it forward, but I can consciously learn from it and see I don't have to make a decision as a 5-year-old anymore, right? I'm 63. I can make a decision as a 63-year-old and have access to all of my strength and knowledge today versus get caught from, one part of me, which was separated. So I think we all deserve to be a whole person. And the more that we work through and bringing all other parts of us, which was separated because we got overwhelmed emotionally. So at one point, we put it in the closet to make it safe, but it was left in the closet. So it's almost like, okay, come back and be a part of me so I can be a whole person at any time that I'm making a decision, and honor myself, honor all parts of myself. And I think living from that place of moving forward, creating our goals, our ambition, what it is that I want, and creating a vision about the future, and then deal with things that are happening daily. And as I, kind of like monitor the intensity of an emotion that shows up, I can catch on. Is this emotion based on what's happening right now, and I need to do something? Because obviously, it's the emotion is telling me do something. It's a message for me. Or it's not about today, and the intensity doesn't match today what's happening, and it's still somewhere, back there. It's not finished. So then I can go back and complete and come back.